South Africa is known as one of the global premium tourism destinations. According to the Department of Tourism, between January and September 2025, more than 7 million international tourist arrivals were recorded. This is an increase of over 1 million visitors compared with the same period in 2024, with strong growth particularly from key markets in Africa, Europe and Asia. Now, this festive season, domestic tourism is also expected to further increase, with a total of 33 million day trips and 26 million overnight trips recorded in 2024, as more South Africans visit some of the tourist destinations that we have, which are absolutely magnificent in South Africa. But to talk more about South Africa's tourism this festive season, we're joined by Patricia de Lille. She, of course, is the Minister in charge of tourism. Minister, what a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us here on the program.
Good morning, Leanne, and good morning to your viewers. It's a really fantastic season for tourism this year. You sure know that the G20 has helped us a lot too.
Yeah.
And we've received many first-time visitors. But South Africa remains the most beautiful country in the world. And people coming from all over the world to visit us. And our domestic tourism has always been the bedrock of our tourism sector and remains that. And therefore, I would like to thank all the stakeholders, all the partners in the sector, all the people that work in hotel and the guest houses all over the country, and to South Africans for being so welcoming, the Ubuntu. We're always happy to receive our visitors.
Yeah, it's always an absolute pleasure, and I must tell you, I mean, just on a side note, I was out of the country just for a few days this week in Geneva, and everyone I spoke to, they just looked at me and said, "Oh, you're so lucky. It is the most beautiful country, and we can't wait to go back and visit it." So that's just on a side note. The reputation is there, but obviously it needs, a lot more work in terms of growing those numbers, which we've done by 1 million, Minister. The 1 million more than the previous time this year. 7 million international tourists. Talk to us.
Definitely, and what we have to do, of course, going into the future, is that we have to maintain those numbers.
Yeah.
We have to service some of our big source markets. The electronic travel authorization is going to be a big game changer going into the future, because now the big source markets like India and China, Indonesia, Mexico, those countries will no longer have, any hassles with visa applications. We're now just working very hard, and we started the processes to also increase the number of direct flights to South Africa. We engage in many airlines to do that. And then, of course, it all translates into economic growth. It translates into jobs for especially our young people. And therefore, we're very grateful that we have seen this growth, because definitely we are able, to, as the Department of Tourism, work together with other government departments, like we are working together with Home Affairs, to assist with the tourist safety and security. We have made available 202 tourism monitors. They've been deployed to OR Tambo. We have deployed some of them to the Border Management Authority. And it's that working together amongst government working with the private sector, and all the people that work in that sector, in this sector, that we can be proud of, that we have achieved what we have achieved now. It's projected to grow by 20%.
Wow.
But we have to keep the momentum, Leanne.
Very much so. I mean, that would be incredible. So obviously, I mentioned in the introduction where we saw the key markets. So obviously on the continent, so a lot of Africa, then Europe and Asia. I mean, perhaps you can talk a bit more about that, and most importantly, how do we grow other markets, make other countries also want to come and visit South Africa?
Well, we do have competition also, Leanne, and that is why we also have to be more aggressive in our marketing. And so we have now put together a joint marketing committee between the Tourism Business Council and SA Tourism. And we've got a joint plan. We are funding the plan together, put all our resources together. It is the market that decides through the Tourism Growth Partnership Plan that a cabinet has just approved. That plan comes from the private sector, the public sector. We all put it together. And it's now the implementation of that plan that is assisting us to work together. Government cannot do it alone. And the collaboration with our communities, we have involved our communities every step of the way with the preparations for the G20. And I will be making sure that we continue to keep this working relationship, to continue to consult, continue to make sure that we work hard to get even more flights to our country. I think the opportunities are endlessly, and it's just for us now to implement them.
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly. Yeah. Minister, in terms of the G20, we obviously saw this happening. The World Leaders Summit took place. Yeah. There were many sideline events, and this wasn't just the one event that everybody was privy to in terms of the Leaders Summit. This was across the country, different breakaway events that were happening. Yes. Perhaps you can talk to us about the impact that this actually had on South Africa and tourism.
Well, Leanne, we had more than 135 meetings, ministerial meetings, working group meetings before the main event that took place in Johannesburg. And the culmination of that gave our business event sector, the meetings, incentives and conferences and events, the MICE sector. It gave them a big boost. But we could also illustrate to the rest of the world that we are capable, willing, and able to, host any event of any size. And so now, again, we had a lot of first-time visitors. And all of them are saying to us that they are coming back. I know that, the people that are crunching the figures, Leanne, are still busy working on the impact, But I know in Gauteng, they have already, estimated that just the impact of the Leaders Summit brought in more than 1 billion rand into the economy of Gauteng. And some people also stayed behind afterwards. So I'm sure by the end of this month, we will have the real impact on the whole of South Africa of the G20.
So, Minister, one of the obviously big things is what's been happening and a lot being said behind the scenes, particularly from American point of view in the US. Has that affected tourism? Have we noticed a drop in numbers from those coming from the US?
No, despite all of this, Leanne, and despite all of the geopolitics and the heckling and the lies about South Africa, we've actually seen a big growth in the American market. For 2 months, September and October, we've received more American tourists, more than tourists that we received from the UK. And so we are working hard with that market. In fact, the demand for more frequencies of flights from America is growing. Yeah. And we're working with the airlines to bring to get more frequencies here. So there's no tariffs in tourism, and I think people are also curious to come and see. Are these things true about South Africa? So no, it didn't have any impact at all.
Yeah, interesting to know that. It really is. But one of the impacts, and we speak about it during every interview, and we'll continue to do so because it is a concern of a lot of people. As I said to you, as much as people say it's the most beautiful country, there is always that hesitation because of the safety and security concerns. So let's ask this question. How are both domestic and international tourists being protected as they discover our country during this festive season? And how are we working together with other enforcement agencies to sort this out?
Well, and we've noted the travel advisories. You know, it's normal that your countries do issue their alerts to their citizens. Just about 2 weeks ago, we had our normal safety forum in Johannesburg, where all the MECs, all the provincial authorities, the National Prosecuting Authority, South African Police Service, Tourism Business Council, we all come together on a quarterly basis because we deal with the concerns around safety and security. We deal with it right through the year, not just this time of the year. And so the plan that we are implementing is a plan of collaboration between the public sector and the private sector. From government side, last year we put in 174 million. We employed 2,300 tourism monitors. We then deployed them at all the frequently visited sites across the country. This year, again, we have made 1,500 available. Some of them are being deployed at our borders and also at OR Tambo Airport and Cape Town Airport. But overall, from the private sector, you know, I always encourage people also that the application, the Secure app, you know, that we encourage our visitors, both local and international, to download that app. Because if you have that app on your phone for the number of days that you are visiting, you know, you have access to at least 300 private security companies plus the South African Police Service. You got access to medical emergency there, but also it is linked to a GPS so that when there's an alert, you know, the control room, the operational room that's operating from Sandton on a 24-hour basis, they're able to respond quicker. And so, of course, safety is the concern of all of us.
Yeah.
And so we're also calling on South Africans, you know, to also be more alert. A lot of the hotels and guest houses, they do have safety tips. Please follow those safety tips. I've seen many of the cities now are also using technology to help them. And so really we are trying our best. And we regret the attack on any tourist, whether it is international or domestic.
Without a shadow of a doubt. Minister, thank you so much for talking to us and joining us here on the program. We, in fact, we're looking forward.
Best wishes to you and the team for the festive season.
Minister, are we going to see you? I know that, I'm not sure if you're going to be there. I know that we're going, well, I've got a little adventure coming up in Limpopo, on the banks of the river in Limpopo. Will you be there?
We will be there.
There you go.
We will be there.
So we can give each other those wishes in person and perhaps a hug just to end off the year. So I will see you on Monday, and that's where we'll be broadcasting from as we sort of wrap up our Follow the Sun here on Morning Live. That, of course, was Patricia de Lille, our Minister of Tourism, talking to us about the economic growth of South Africa and her department's plans for this festive season when it comes to all things tourism.